back in the days when Beyond Light came out, when Stasis and Hunter Revenant was a meta or build in this game that was the best, probably still is without a doubt still very good since they haven't touched darkness powers in a while and they're reworking the light powers. 100 intellect hunters in the Crucible that were Hunter Revenant, Stasis Hunters were still very good. Slice and Squall was a very good super to have at the Crucible, and I feel they were the reason. But also Warlocks and Titans are still very good as well with their Stasis. But Hunter Revenant specifically, I feel, dominated the Crucible and Gambits with Stasis. That was maybe why people were driving Stasis away from PvP or the Crucible, because Slice and Squall was just also very, very good. But Warlocks and Titans are also just as good with Stasis as well. I felt the number of Hunter Revenants in the Crucible with Stasis were very, very high at the time. So they were also dictating and driving the meta of the game by using Beyond Light's new subclass powers in the Crucible. Now I feel Lightfall will also have the same agenda as well. That's the light power strand will also be very powerful in the Crucible, so that's also the price point as well. I mean, you're not paying for a campaign, you're also paying for a new power. You're also going to be using this power not just in PvE but also in PvP as well, so strand will be super powerful. Being a new power, you'll also be getting your fragments, your aspects for it as well when Lightfall comes out. So there's going to be nothing that's going to be as strong or as powerful as strand when it comes out. So paying $50 first hand with your aspects and fragments quests and, you know, doing your bounties to get, you know, your aspects and your abilities for your character, just like you did with the Exo Hunter on Europa. Do it all over again for Lightfall, and you'll get your aspects, and your will be empowering your fragments, will be empowering your darkness powers, making them super insanely uber powerful, incredibly powerful, where it destroys the balance of the meta of the game, where the light powers need to be adjusted to strand probably or something like that, because there's also the free-to-play players and they don't have any of the expansions so far. I mean, we do give them an opportunity, thankfully, for them to progress their campaigns and triumphs and stuff, you know, for a week or so when it's Bungie week or something, or an occasion, and there's probably a price cut somewhere by the, you know, publishers and stuff like that somewhere where they could buy it. But let's just say most free-to-play players don't have expansions, but they can still do everything fine in the game without having to pay for, you know, things like Stasis or Strand. So when Stasis did come out, it was the first one to be 3.0, so it was way different than having a top and middle and bottom tree, or having an expansion that would just give you a middle tree with a Well of Life or Whirlwind Guard or Titan Clash. It was I you know, made my class to be glacier diving, one-hit killing people in the Crucible, and getting 100 discipline to do it over and over again and build my grenades back up again, because I have aspects and fragments that make me so much stronger than just using a top, bottom, and middle tree. So this would make people say, please remove Stasis from the game, maybe from the Crucible, because of how powerful they are. People would like to, you know, avoid fighting a Stasis Hunter or Titan Warlock in the Crucible over Solar, Light, and Void. I mean Solar, Arc, and Void. So like, this is a new this is the same thing's gonna happen again, obviously. Now I don't know, it probably isn't. I guess Strand will be definitely 3.0, but if it would be so funny if Strand just shows up and it's like an updated version of the light class system, dude, or the dark system, whatever it is, just a subclass like update also as well. It's gonna be 3.0. No, it's gonna be 3.5, yo. 3.5 darkness subclass only. It's just Strand though, no Europa. Europa taught us the 3.0 window with the aspects and fragments, but Strand is going to teach us something new, where we can use it in a way that is more advanced than what you learned on Europa. We'll see though. We're not too sure. We'll probably introduce it with just 3.0, but I wouldn't doubt, or maybe, hide that, that like maybe Bungie or PlayStation or whoever else is working on the game is like, I know a way that we can make the subclasses even more powerful. And it's just like, we'll of course Bungie has been like, like they know how to, is what I'm saying. We've already deciphered or deduced that Bungie knows a better way to even make the light classes even better. It's just, can we have our light classes to be like the darkness classes with aspects and fragments? No, but we can do that. We'll make the light classes be the what's it called, the darkness subclass. We'll make them 3.0, as you guys called it, since they're iterations of it. There's 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, so it's like, oh, they call this 3.0. They call this the powers, the subclass, the rework 3.0. All of this has to do with lore and the story of the game, but the light powers, I feel, were not supposed to be reworked to look like 3.0. They were probably supposed to look different. The aspects and fragments only stay for darkness, and the light powers get something else. But it seems that the direction we're heading is that the light and dark are together, so that we can use aspects and fragments. Thankfully, now that's super cool. We can use light and we can use aspects and fragments with our light powers, so that'll make us stronger. But I feel with the Traveler, Zavala, the Vanguard, everyone at the tower that knows this stuff, what's going on, we're like, we know something that's more stronger, more powerful than the fragments and the aspects that you use for darkness. But we can also use aspects and fragments for the light powers if you guys want. It seems like you guys really like this stuff, so we can sort of adopt this into the light powers. But I wouldn't doubt that. I think it was supposed to be, light powers are supposed to have its own system, different from darkness. Darkness have aspects and fragments that make them stronger. Light powers have trees that they pick and choose that make them what they are. And I think after the tree or the growth that they have for that system, the light power subclass will have something else that's similar to growth, that is stronger and better than aspects and fragments and stuff like that. I felt I've already talked about this already a lot, but it's good that the light and dark powers, if you play Beyond Light, obviously, you know this, but and the lore and all that good stuff, but it would make sense that we adopt another style or another culture with our own together, that we're unified in some way. I guess it sounds so stupid putting it this way, but this Traveler guy definitely knows his light subclass. If he has a different way to level his powers or have his powers given to you, different from darkness powers. Dark powers are shown to us, like how the Exo Stranger is able to give, like the Exo Stranger knows a lot how to use the dark powers, and came to us and said that we can use this to help us. However, her dad has a very high place in the universe and knows how to do a lot of things, and was telling her to forget that stuff, forget about using darkness, but she comes from a different future, a dark, distant future. So that future for some reason is ours, and we were using dark powers like stasis and maybe strand as well. So we're using that cool stuff. But the other side of this is like you need to not worry about that stuff, and you need to use this stuff that I give you instead. But it's like me living in the Antarctica all by myself, and I'm like, you know, I love my family and stuff, but something happened in the future where me and the darkness powers were fighting the forces of evil together, and the dark powers are the same as the traveler and all this other stuff, and that was the future of what it was. And Varix is there, the Drifter's there as well, Exo Stranger, Iris is there too as well, and they're using the dark powers to fight the forces of evil and stuff like that. So it's a really cool thing, but it's also like something like a warning or something like that we need to learn from. But it's very cool still that we have our Hunter Subclass 3.0, and it looks like this, of course, obviously. It looks just like the Hunter Revenant. It's just like this, apparently. It just switches places. It's the same thing. But there's light and darkness, but your light powers are supposed to be different. They're not supposed to have fragments and aspects to them. They're supposed to be growth and trees and stuff like that. You level, and you get your things from growing, from since you're born till you die or whatever. So that's the light side of things, which is super cool. But anyways, you know, Beyond Light happened. I really like the campaign. I do like the darkness subclass. So it's like, man, why don't the light powers look like this and stuff like that? So people do like that stuff, but at the same time, the light powers were supposed to be like something else. But you know, they were like, I kind of like the aspects and fragments, because when you talk about aspects and fragments, they don't look like Lamb or Colt or something like that. It doesn't look deviant or some shit like that. It doesn't look evil. It looks like you're holding something you were fighting for, something that represents you. But it's also that you know, gunslingers have their holsters that make them gunslingers. The bullet they fire from their golden is what they look like, that give them the aim, the eye to be able to shoot, you know. That western bullet that comes out of the lock of the chamber of the revolver that flies out, that's smoking hot, is an insight to a marksman. So it sounds like dark powers. Now you can see what I meant, that these are dark powers that we're using. But the way when we use this stuff, you know, to family, friends, and everybody in the world and all that stuff in the universe, you're not using this like some sort of satanic symbol. You're using this because you like this stuff, but you can clearly see, you know, with some things, the way they look. The gunpowder gamble looks like survival and stuff like that. You have one match, and you can use this match to survive, you know. And it's just the one match that you need to save the entire resistance, or whatever you want to call it, man. But that one matchbook that he has, is used against us. He has one match in his back pocket, and it's an aspect he has that can have him burn an entire village because he has one matchbook. You know what I'm saying? For example, one stasis aspect is a frozen Vex. That's not a good thing, so that makes, you know, it's like a skull of a Vex, I guess you could say, but it's frozen. So it's not a good thing. Darkness powers are not bad. Like aspects and fragments are bad. They're evil, dark things. But the people that we roll with are cool as hell. So we're good. I think we're good. But the light powers, I think, are still its own thing, its own way still. But I like that we adopt other things and put it together, and we're this one big, beautiful thing. You know what I mean? So everything I think is good. So it's good that we have our aspects and fragments, of course, to look at this, because I guess now we can see how we look in the darker side of things. You know, we have matchbooks, bullets, and a gun holster and stuff like that. That's what makes our golden gun, or our marksmans and stuff like that. That's how we look. You know, we have a frozen spine or something like that, or a necklace that gives us with a symbol of the Titan onto it and stuff like that, or something, or a wristband of a warlock. That's that looks like I don't know. It looks deviant. It looks bad. It looks explicit. I have no idea. And we can use this to power ourselves, to make us stronger than everyone else. Akura's very good at coming up with these things. She's very smart at that stuff, so it's obvious that we have to go see her to grow our light powers. And also, it's very interesting that she uses Glimmer as well to as a vendor to go. You have to go buy them from her, because now they're things for sale. They're things that you buy now to have your light powers, instead of it being just not commune, but like to be a guardian. It's like you're a guardian now, so you just pick whichever one you want to be, and you're that. Instead is you have to pay now, because it's a table that I'm a merchant and sell power to. So it feels like we're creating weapons, you know, like we're mass producing things, because now everyone has to go over to Ikora and buy their powers from her. So of course they've been thinking about doing this for a long time, but it's very interesting that she's now like a table you go to and buy powers from, instead of it being just pick whichever one that you want, that you see in your head, or that you see, yeah, that's that, you're that, and that's it. Now it's well, I have this table here, you can come buy your powers now. But of course she invented this. She's making this. This is like you know, so that we can survive and shit for humanity. She's very, very good at that stuff, yo. Like the Witch Queen expansion, she was also like, she had a very large role, as well as Marasov. She has a big role in this as well, with what's happening. So when Lightfall comes, it's going to be something cool to see. So we're also going to be studying or learning a new way of things, that's also darkness. A strand, and it also looks like a lasso as well. It's very interesting, because I feel like that's something we do a lot. So it's interesting that, to me, and I'm saying interesting a lot, is to me a lasso and a strand, or is like something, like it's just like, it sounds like I'm just something, but I'm darkness. My color is green. Green is dark, apparently, and the Drifter's here at the tower, and his color is green as well. But we're gonna have to study and learn from this way of life that we have. So we're gearing up to it. You know, we have Season of the Plunder, Spider's here, Mithrax is here as well, and Drifter is here. So we have to sit, you know, and learn from them about things. Hopefully this soul makes us better or stronger or something like that, so that we can defeat what's coming or heading towards us. First it was Savathun with hive magic and cunning and deceit. Now it's man, how do I explain this dude? He's looking to end the this war we have with the pyramids and the Traveler. Or there's I'm guessing a whole bunch of other travelers are gonna show up, or maybe not other travelers, but just this guy's the Traveler, but there's other of you out there, and there's also pyramids as well. So well, this guy's with us, I guess, because yeah, fucking Lord Saladin was here, now he's gone. He's coming back soon, next week. Funny that I just mentioned him at the timing that he's coming back to the tower. Saladin was like, what the hell? There was hive risen by the traveler, or life from the travel risen from the traveler. That is so fucking weird. He's like, bro, I'm out of here. I'm leaving the tower. Hive are being risen by the traveler? Like, now is the best time as ever to leave this fucking place and go with the cabal or some shit like that. What the hell is going on over here? Oh my god, dude. This shit is so funny. Like, it's like the funniest shit ever, like when things like this happen. I wonder what Saladin is gonna say when he gets back to the tower. He's gonna see the drifter and all this other stuff. He's like, I'm not having it. Not get away from me, but like, it's time for banner, guys. Our favorite week. It's a holiday where we play Crucible a lot, to light the flames. You know, it's a tradition we have. You know, so come to the tower for your enneagrams. And he's handing out his presents to the children at the tower. Well, we're having fun playing at the Crucible, and then just for the travel, you know, things that we do and stuff. And it's like, what is this guy thinking? He points to the traveler with his arm, and he's like, what the hell are you thinking? Risen Hive, you know, with light powers. That was the dumbest. I'm out. What are you thinking giving Hive magic? What the hell? Yeah, so it's like, man, what is going on? Everything is super bad, especially with, you know, this stuff. It was something that Savathin was planning, and the witness and Callus's return is also back as well. Apparently, I don't know how Callus is back. I thought he died, but he's apparently still alive. I guess this witness guy can give people bodies as well. I have no idea what the extent of his power is, but it looks like Callus is in flesh form. He's not in a hologram or a data form. He's like, I'm back type deal. But they did talk about cloning and stuff like that. Callus did come up with his own shit, and apparently Callus is from the fucking sun, bro. He's Solid TR or some shit like that, bro. Like, I have absolutely no idea. Apparently Kaido's dad is he's like he's the sun, apparently. Like, everything look like, for some reason, seems that way, points to it, that he's solar or some shit like that. He's the sun power. So it looks like, you know, Kaido's dad is like nice. So Kaido, I guess, is trying to, like, you know, can you save your dad? Can you try to get him, you know, like, back to normal? But he's giving everything up to be the herald for fucking the witness, dog. It's so stupid, because this is what Savathun was talking about, and what kind of pissed her off and set this off. Apparently the witness and Kaido, or Callus, excuse me, Callus and the witness, both talk like it's our current century. The way these guys speak and do things are like hipster, like trendy or some shit like that. Not hipster, but like he's talking to you like not insightful or, you know, proper. He's talking to you like I don't know how to explain, dude. He's talking to you like okay, Callus is easier to explain. He says things like, that was awesome, really cool stuff. Yeah, when he created this, like, that was some really deep, cool shit. Like, he was like, I fuck with that type deal hard. Like, it's very hard. Like, I'm sorry for being vulgar, but like, that's the only way that I can explain. Like, he sounds vulgar and explicit, and when you first hear the witness talking, he sounds like he's reading a prophecy, like he's reading an inscription or a fucking like but he's just a liar. That's how he's just a liar. The witness is a liar, and Callus is like down with that shit because he's not just a liar, but he's also capable of his own like he's displayed his coolness, his skill, like kind of like he's online, like his profile, his PSN has like 100 trophies platinumed or some shit like that, or 100 games platinum. Callus looked at his profile and was like, yo, your profile is actually dope, I fuck with that shit. You're actually one of the few people I see do that shit. Like tell me your stance on cloning and all this shit. Oh, he's like, oh bro, I abandoned cloning. Like Callus needs someone like him that's above him to serve him, like people that bestow powers and stuff like that. But he can't talk like a you know, like a wimp. He has to sound cool, he has to be cool, and to Callus the witness is cool, so he's choosing to side with him. So he's like, forget about everything and I'm gonna serve the witness himself. And the Red Legion of course likes Callus, and they'll go with him. So the Red Legion is going with Callus, with the witness as well. So they have the pyramids as a fleet, and they also have the Red Legion as well. So it's Cabal with fucking pyramid schemes on them, dude. It's fucking crazy as hell. So Callus and the witness, their minds are similar. They see things like that, and they're very also similar when they come to, I can create powers, I can resurrect people, I have, you know, godly values or some shit like that. I'm just sort of a god, but like the way I talk isn't like Jesus. I don't sound like Jesus, but I read to you like I am Jesus, but I'm not Jesucristo, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like him at all. I'm fooling people, deceiving people. I'm more cunning. Like what I said to him was supposed to throw him off, really balanced, and Callus saw that shit and was like, I fuck with that heavy. Because not only are you a god, but you're also talking like a fucking badass as well, dude. So I have to fuck with you like I'm 100% and talk to you. Like I have to, like, Callus goes to his daughter and says, I have to follow this guy because this is my fucking purpose, yo. I have to find out why the two of us do this kind of shit. So these fucking guys are from the tower are gonna come and try to stop us type deal, you know, stupid shit like that. It's so much different than when fucking Oryx was fucking trying to stop us and fight us and all this other shit, yo. It's like these guys are like posting on Twitter, broadcasting on Twitch or type deal, making YouTube videos, and they're like, yeah, the kind of content I create is, you know, misleading and all this other shit. And Callus is like, bro, I fuck with that shit so heavy, dog. And it's just like, I make misleading stuff, but because I'm capable of making this misleading stuff, I'm also powerful than more powerful than you realize. So the two of us, I think, are together. So we'll make an allegiance or some sort of alliance between the two of us because we're the same, you know. The two of us are like gods, we're deities or something like that, apparently. Callus is apparently a deity, so is this witness guy. But the witness have also had these other disciples, and they've been maybe taken away, or he's had one disciple, Rogue, and he was destroyed or beaten already. But what's so funny, because the opposite fucking happened, at least towards the end a little bit, because Rogue was still the witness's disciple, but Rogue was a different type of alien or species that's out there in the universe that we haven't made contact with yet. And there's another guy in Lightfall where it's his first time we've seen some type of guy like this, where they're very, very tall, skinny people. They look like animated, like Batman animated series like style villains, yo. Like they're very tall, their eyes are very wide and white, and very lanky people, and they're very adept at fighting with staffs and stuff like that, and different types of weapons and stuff. So when we met Rogue, when we fought him, he sort of had a change of heart or mindset. He was still loyal to the witness, I think, to the end, but I think he still taught us a little bit about something. Because he was an initiate, so when he came to the witness to be his disciple. So he was kind of supposed to be the next villain after the witness. So it was going to be Rourke, but Savathun trapped him inside of a pyramid with hive magic. She stopped him, so he was trapped inside of it, so he couldn't go back out. So we raided the temple that he was inside of to find out more what was happening, and Rourke was inside there. And so while you're inside, you can interact and see a lot of different things inside of this pyramid, as well as Rourke that's inside of it. It was sort of like there was a preservation or some shit like that. It was a lot of things with the light and dark, different bones from different places that we've been to from before, things that we recognize in the moon, and the Savathun's throne world on Mars. There's a lot of things that are about the light and dark saga inside the pyramids. And also inside what was kept there was the disciple of the witness that Savathun trapped inside of there. So she fucking put his ass inside there, while they also have all these other shit between the traveler and the pyramids, or the circles and triangles or whatever. So Rourke was also put inside there. So when you met him, when we confronted Rourke, he had a whole bunch of other things as well when you fight him. So it was almost like he was teaching us like how to fight as not as a disciple of the witness, but as a disciple of his tribe, I guess you can say, because he also had like his own battle rifles and assault rifles and glives as well. So he kind of taught us like how to use these things, I guess, a little bit, but he was still a disciple of the witness, apparently. I don't know, maybe Savathun can use her cunning, her lies to do this. But you can also say that there was maybe intelligence involved as well, that there was an intelligent war, a war of intelligence happening. Rourke was not a disciple of the witness. It was just to find the witness and become his disciple, his initiate, to get close enough to him, to target him, and to get rid of the witness from the soul system. But we're not sure of this. We're not sure because the things that Rourke says and does is like two-way. He says one thing and then he does something else, but then people see Rourke and it's like he taught us how to use the glaive very well because that was his weapon. And you also get the Lubric's brain as well, and he also gave us a whole bunch of these weapons as well, that he has his own pulse rifles, assault rifles, glaives. He has all his own weapons that we're able to get from raiding that inside of that pyramid, because Rourke was inside of there, so he had his own weapons. He also gave you the collective obligation as well. So he was some sort of a librarian. So he was sort of a record keeper. If you sort of study just Rourke by himself and not what he did with his action with following the witness. So he was a librarian. That means he had to do this. He had to go and follow the witness. He had to be his disciple. Because that is what he needed to do, because there was nothing else that he had to do. Like, it's the witness, apparently. This guy is in the soul system with black fleets everywhere. When you look at the darkness in our soul system, those are just pyramids. So Rourke went after this because he was a librarian, apparently. So he had to return his book to somebody, so he gave his book to us, I guess, apparently, so we're able to read this. It's really weird, I guess you can say. I really don't like this a lot, because it's like, you know, he looks like a good guy, but at the same time he's not good. And of course, after Rourke's defeat, people still try to attack the temple and go inside to take so that it becomes theirs. You know, Scorn go inside and try to take what's inside for theirs. And the Scorn have their own thing as well. They look like Fallen or some shit like that. I have no idea, but the Scorn have their own thing as well with, you know, Forsaken and all this other shit where they call someone father. And, you know, people are on alert. They were like, what are you talking about? What do you mean father? And the guy that comes down is like a deity or a god or some shit like that. And that's what they meant by father. Not by biological. They meant like godliness or divinity. That he comes down as divine. The Scorn are looking for this guy. They're looking for divinity or whatever's divine to make it theirs. Or to even maybe even follow them. But it's so funny that like the Scorn are so easily like they use the Scorn so much because it's like any form sign of divinity is shown and the Scorn go after it and they attack it. So a common enemy is the Scorn because they show up because it's like, oh, I need divine, we're looking for divine power, we'll strike anything that has divinity in it, so it makes it ours. So you're gonna run into a lot of Scorn everywhere, which is fucking hilarious. Yeah, I just laugh at that stuff. I'm like, wow, that's super funny. Like, Scorn are just gonna attack anything that's divine, apparently. So we're having this conversation, like, oh, they're looking for divine power, so they're in on this too, like everyone else. So it kind of sucks that we have to deal with Scorn. Yeah, yo. So it's kind of crazy. There was a. It looked like, I mean, I'm remembering a strike mission on the Throne World where it was a Scorn, I think you had to fight, and he had like a crossbow or some shit like that. I can't remember, but he looked like one of the bosses from Forsaken or some shit like that. But you can't do that strike anymore because the Tangle Shore isn't there anymore. They vaulted the Tangle Shore, so it's not around right now. But in Savitude's Throne World, there's a guy that looks like one of the Scorn bosses, and he's there inside of a pyramid apparently. So you guys will fight him. And then there's also, so you find a Scorn boss inside of a pyramid, but you're also gonna find a disciple of the Witness somewhere. That's so funny, dude, that we find the guys like right here in front of us. It's so crazy. A collective obligation. So it's like everybody, so if you look at the name again, it's also like an entity, an entire, or a collective, as in a mass, like a together, like everybody, everyone has to oblige or obligate. They have to obligate, so everyone has to, I guess, everyone has to do this. You have to do this, but everybody. But I also look like obligations as something from the library, like with books, like something I have to give you that was mine, that is now yours, and it's a pulse rifle that helps your void powers. Void leeching, to able to suck the void powers out of something and then shoot it back. So let's say, for example, you shoot void at somebody, you're able to take the void out of him as well and then store it and then shoot it back, and that is like really damaging and powerful. So shoot void, take the void in again, take a lot of the void that you shoot out, but it has to be the void that damages him or hurts him. If it was damaging void that hurts him, he can store that into a weapon and stack it on top of each other and then shoot it back at somebody, and it'll be really damaging. So you're able to leech off void powers, apparently. Leeching is like something insects do, or bugs. to make themselves grow and become stronger. So there's a void, or I guess it's the weapon that does it. The weapon leeches. It's like a bug or a bone, or I guess, or something like that. I have no idea. It looks like a bug, I guess. It looks like a living organism, just like the parasite gun. And it eats the you throw the void power and it eats the void that it did damage to into the weapon, and then it shoots it back. So it makes the gun super strong, I guess. It's hard to explain. But man, and a collective obligation sounds like knowledge. It sounds scholarly. It sounds like like a library. But it isn't. I guess it's also something everyone thinks, or something everyone does. So it's it's still, in the end, I think Rourke was still bad, but when you look at the encounter a little bit more, sometimes it's almost like Rourke was teaching us or mentoring us, kind of like Metal Gear Solid 3. Big boss versus the boss, or the boss versus Naked Snake type deal. Void leech. Weapon leeches. This weapon does it. The void leeches void debuffs, and it switches to fire mode, and damage from this applies the same void debuffs that were leech. What the witness gave me, I give to you. May it serve you in death or in finality. It cannot be both. Rourke, disciple of the witness. Collective obligation. What the witness gave me, I give to you. May it serve in death or in finality. It cannot be both. May it serve you in death or in finality. It cannot be both. So you can see how the way that Rourke is talking, that's how the witness talks. I can't tell if he's being nice or if he's being mean. Most of the time it's mean. But if you read the first line again, what the witness gave me, I give to you. May it serve you in death or in finality. It cannot be both. This is Rourke helping us. What I give to you, I hope it serves in death or in finality. It cannot be both. It cannot be death or in finality. Could be to the enemy or person, and he splits the two. An interesting weapon. So it looks like, I guess it's Rourke probably you're shooting at people. And it's in white as well. I like that when they do this. I know it looks plain sometimes where they do that. It just looks like a gold or platinum or silver. But they do that a lot for these weapons. And some weapons are also, of course, some fan service and stuff, but gold weapons people like a lot.